Lord said to Joseph, "Do not be afraid." All over these stories, there are sentinels of good news telling all of the principal characters, do not be afraid, which is evidence of nothing quite so much as there is a lot to be afraid of. A lot. And I don't know about you, but in my experience, people telling me, don't be afraid of something that is obviously frightening only makes it worse. She was about 14 and pregnant. He was probably quite a bit older and definitely not the father. They had been promised to each other, but not married. She was confused, and he was ashamed. And unless you don't want to take this story seriously, you can't read it carefully without imagining that these two young people were afraid. The neat context, the prophetic expectations, the pronouncements of singing angels and knowing shepherds, the excitement and confidence we now feel for where this story is going, none of that was so clear to them. Not then. Our memory and the way we tell this story are a product of a ministry yet to be lived and fulfilled. A faith that those two young people could barely glimpse. They had nothing much to go on but love. Nothing much that could be trusted except love. And whether to register in the census or to escape the smirks and sneers of neighbors as she became great with child, they set out in love for Bethlehem, as good a place as any to get away from the judgment and shame, the crushing weight of a law unleavened by love. They must have been scared. And in a world that would have them both shamed and her put away, they went on in love, in a journey of reconciliation, forgiveness, and the renewal of life in love. This was for them and for us a new, mysterious, challenging encounter with something too awful to want and too real to deny. Too awful to want and too real to deny. I'm scared out of my wits. But in the joy of the promise, I will take the risk. One who comes in the truth that God is love. God made us in love, and God made us for loving, even and especially when love is inconvenient. The risk of love leads us in the promise of joy. We light the fourth candle for joy, with hope, peace, and love. Joy completes the crown of the Advent graces. Simcha in Hebrew, chara in Greek. These words and their joyful cognates are found hundreds of times in the Bible. Used to describe the relationship with God, life and faith, deliverance, salvation, and fulfillment, the person and ministry of Jesus Christ. Angels declare glad tidings that in his birth there is great joy. But something about this time of year, this moment, causes me to ask now in a way that I don't always, critical in a way that I am not always. What is joy? We talk about it. We use it quite commonly as a verb. We enjoy all sorts of things, from ice cream to friendship to sleep. We use it easily as an adjective. It was a joyous celebration. We heard joyful music. But what is joy? The noun, the thing itself. What is it? As with seasoning, you can taste the difference between salt and pepper. What is it that distinguishes joy from other flavors of happiness? Delight, cheer, gladness, pleasure, well-being. What is it that makes joy? And there's the rub. Because what I feel like we are looking for in joy, and as our faith points us to joy, it is not something that we make, I think. It's not a blend or a formula, a pursuit or an achievement. It's a gift. It's something we find ourselves falling into, or that takes us over. It's an inspiration that takes up residence within us. Joy is a deep and abiding light that infuses our very being, and by that light we come to see everything else as new. We recognize joy. It's not really a thing we have. It's who and what we become and the life that we share in receiving the gift of Jesus Christ. That hope and peace and love. In the glories you realize and the challenges you face, you become a place of joy. Yes, there is plenty to be afraid of. But do not allow fear to hold you back, nor to take the lead. Because in you and with you, God is doing a great thing. Through the hope that calls even on the darkest night. By the peace that gives us courage and calm even as conflicts rage. In the love that opens our hearts and animates our living in creativity. God is opening the way for us to receive that gift of joy, to fall into it, to be held by it. This Sunday, as we stand on the threshold of Christmas, we hear the angel inviting us to live in joy. Not that we will be exempt from the cares and fears of the world, but that we are chosen by God. Our kind is chosen and called to be a part of changing the world. nurturing the rebirth of the promise that is from of old. A transformation into a new age of hope, peace, love, and joy. Enjoy that to the glory of God. Amen.